Need to get some more people into this fanbase. Hitman Reborn centers around the high school student Sawada Tsunayoshi. He performs poorly in school, academically and physically, and is just generally known as no good Suna, until one day, an assassin from an elite mafia family pays him a visit. An assassin that turns out to be a baby, or at least that's what the story wants me to believe. But at first glance, that thing doesn't even look human. More like some mini mutant thing, but I digress. This baby assassin is called Reborn, and he was sent to Suna by the current leader of the Vongola Mafia family so that Reborn can train him to be the next leader. You see, Suna is the descendant of the very first leader and founder of the Vongola family. There were of course other suitable candidates, but they all got murdered, so Suna's all they got. Now Suna must learn to be the great 10th boss of the Vongola family under the tutelage of the great Hitman Reborn, whether he wants to or not. The first thing I have to mention about this story is of course the sudden change. For the first 61 chapters of this manga, it is mostly a comedy, and then it does this whiplash change and turns into a regular shonen action. Reading it felt like it was always meant to be a comedy, but at some point the editor told them that it needed to be more action-packed. Most people who read it or watched the anime didn't really like the comedy part, with the general reaction being, I thought it was lame, but then the action part started. But I personally loved both parts of the story. It's true that the transition was weird, but the first part with the comedy was really funny to me. They nailed it, mostly because of the character Reborn. And the first part of the story also serves to introduce all the people that will serve as the members of Suna's Vongola family. And I think that the comedic introduction of these characters gave me a better understanding of who they are than an average shonen introduction would have. The shonen part of the story is really good as well, but like most shonen, they start off with a gimmick like ninja or soul reaper or pirate, but eventually they all just turn into superheroes, and Hitman Reborn is no different with the whole mafia thing. Now can I give some praise to what I call the latter art of this manga? We've all seen it. When you read a manga, the art that you start with is usually not the art that you end with, especially for long-running stories. I'm not saying that the art style is objectively the best art out there, but it is one of my favorite art styles of all time. It rubs me the right way in all the right places. It's delicious, flavorful. In fact, I give the art style Crisp Review's first official stamp of nutrition. Now, just to throw in one minor criticism about this story, the female characters didn't really have a lot of impact in the shonen side of the story. On the comedy side, they were knocking it out of the park, especially Haru. But in the shonen side of the story, they were just kinda there, which is strange because the mangaka was a woman. The three most interesting characters are Gokudera, Suna, and Reborn himself. Gokudera is Suna's right-hand man. He tries to be serious all the time but loses composure because of all the antics that are happening around him. He also has some of the coolest abilities when the fighting kicks off. Sawada Tsunayoshi, the protagonist, the boss to be. With the plot being what it is, you would expect a dramatic change in character as the story goes on, but the character growth is more subtle, which is something I can appreciate. Reborn, the infant, the myth, the legend himself, the character that kicks off the story and drives it forward. The funniest, smartest, and most badass character throughout the whole story. The story would not even be half as good without him. In the end, Hitman Reborn is the perfect ratio of kick-ass and comedy.